So welcome to our yoga breathing. So it's for menopause and anxiety. So obviously this is menopausal month that Twinkle is focusing on, but also the anxiety that can relate to menopause and beyond. So I'm aware that some of you will be having the joys of experiencing menopause, and others of you will not be doing that at the moment, but might be experiencing anxiety or a desire to adjust anxiety levels in your life. So I picked this picture so that we've got a nice calming start, so that you know that you're going to be able to settle into this comfortably. So a tiny little bit about me. My name is Susanna. I have been teaching yoga for about 18 years now. My yoga company is called The Yoga, and I am the lead tutor on the Yoga Scotland course. So Yoga Scotland is a bit like British Wheel, but for Scotland, although British Wheel is up here as well. And that's my Instagram page there. So if you're wanting more yoga inspiration after today, you're very welcome to head there and pick up on that. So a little bit about menopause. I know that not all of you are menopausal, but I did want to go through this a little bit just so we've got kind of background. So menopause starts in the brain. We think of it as a thing that happens through the body, but it's initially a brain change that then affects the rest of the body. So it affects the hypothalamus and heat regulation. It affects the brain stem, which can create sleep problems. It can affect, or it does affect, the amygdala, which can lead to mood swings. And often in menopause, there's quite a significant increase in depression and anxiety. So 34% of women experiencing one or the other. I'm sorry, what I'm seeing from here is my slides are set up forgetting that we've got this little pane down the side, so you're not getting to see all the pictures. So for the pictures, we've got someone feeling very hot with a fan. We've got a slightly crazy lady who's just had enough. A lot of heat, so all the associations of menopause. And then at the bottom, I've got this lovely old woman or older woman, because often we think of menopause as this entering into a slightly less than attractive phase. It's not got a great press, menopause. Two things which are nothing to do with yoga breathing, but I really wanted to pop in there, which is that increasing phytoestrogens, which is soya or soy products, can reduce hot flashes, and steady exercise and exercise for osteoporosis. So strengthening is also really important. And also, I know you've probably heard it so many times, reducing caffeine, alcohol, smoking, stress. But it's definitely recognised that this has a really clear link in menopausal women as to how it affects them and how strong hot flashes are. So one to consider. A little bit about what we're going to do today. So we're looking at different ways of breathing, and breathing to help particular symptoms to menopause, but obviously these symptoms could also be out with menopause. So that is breath awareness, breathing for anxiety, depression, particularly for hot flashes, and then balancing, so balancing the body, the mind, and the hormones. So we're going to do a little bit of each of these today. So first of all, we're going to do some breath awareness. So where you are, can you take one hand onto your heart and one hand onto your belly? So you're just going to have one hand in either area, and you're just going to breathe easily. So you're going to notice your in-breath and notice your out-breath. And you're just going to allow it to be natural, so you don't have to do anything particular. You're just letting your energy begin to settle. You're feeling your breath moving. You're feeling that gentle expansion as you breathe in, and then that softening back feeling as you breathe out. So just enjoy that breath and start to notice which hand is it that moves first as you breathe in. So is it your belly hand or is it your top hand? And just take a couple of breaths like this, just noticing whatever you've thought to be true, just notice if that is definitely your pattern. So if you found that your breathing tended to move into your higher hand first, that's a good indication that there's a pattern of breathing which is going to lead to sensations of stress. And if your your breath moves into the belly hand first, that would be considered a more natural and breath pattern that's going to help you to deal with the issues of life as they come up. Now, if you're one of the people that your breath moves into high up into your chest, first of all, don't worry, breathing and different ways of breathing are entirely normal. But what we will be doing today is we'll be doing a variety of breathing exercises, and we'll see if you can allow your breathing to settle a little bit, because we can relearn how we breathe so that we become more whole, I suppose you might say, more able to deal with stress and life. So we've got three main areas of the lungs, and when we're looking at breathing, it's important that we think about these areas. So we've got, when I ask you to put your hand on your belly, it's not because your lungs are down here. Your lungs sit like this and they come all the way up here, they're very big. But when your lungs move, they displace your tummy. So that's why we do kind of belly breathing. We're not actually taking the breath into here, but the breath is moving this area. We've got the kind of side ribs, this area here. We've got all the way up to the collarbones. All of these places are good places to breathe. But what's really important is that when our breath is lower, we tend to feel steadier and happier and calmer. Now, sometimes if you're running for a bus, really stressed, very active, you need to be breathing up here as well. And if you're very focused, you might breathe into this area primarily. But all of these areas can be used to breathe through, and it's really healthy to do that. But what we're looking at is, can we find a way to breathe where we slightly emphasize the lower areas, particularly when we're feeling stressed and worried. So we are going to do a little bit of breathing now, which is particular for anxiety. So this is a breath that is calming and settling. And you don't have to feel stressed to do it. So if any of you are there thinking, oh, well, I better not do this because I feel quite good already, it can only help you to feel better. Before we go ahead and do it, it's really important, there's some kind of basics of breathing. One is that all the time we want ourselves to feel comfortable. It's not that you need to exercise your breathing to such a level that you feel any form of discomfort. If there was to be any change in awareness, so if there was to be blurring of vision, dizziness, sparkly lights, anything too extreme, that would mean calm it all back down again. Don't go out of breath. Make sure your breath stays fluid. So you breathe in, you breathe out. It moves nicely all the time. And if in doubt, ask me later and we can talk about it if there were to be any particular issues. So what we're going to do is you're going to take a breath in and you're going to take a breath out. And you're going to go at your pace. So you might take a longer in breath and then a longer out breath. It's absolutely fine. You're just breathing in easily, in breath and out breath. And then you're going to find that little pattern. So you've got your rhythm. So you're breathing nice and easily for you and you feel good and you feel relaxed. But you maybe think not a lot's happening yet. And then the next time that you breathe out, you're going to make just a little pause on your out breath and then continue out. So again, slower or faster as suits you. Breathing in and then on the out breath, a little pause. And again. When you breathe out, breathing out fully, so you get that nice kind of empty feeling for a moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to see if we want to extend that a little bit. So you're going to see if on the breath out, you want to make 2 little pauses. So that in your own time, with your breath, feeling good, and still like this is all manageable, comfortable, nice, You're going to allow that out breath to make 2 pauses if it feels good. If it doesn't, you stay with 1. Do that for a couple of breaths. And then the next time, you're going to see if you want to make 3 little pauses, or you might want to make the pause just a little bit longer. And then you're going to do 1 last one. Nice easy breath in, and then those pauses on the out breath. And then you're going to take a pause. You're going to notice how you feel. You might feel a little bit more relaxed. You might feel a bit easier. What we're doing today is we're going to explore a couple of different breaths and different ways of breathing. It's really important that when cortisol levels are high, it takes somewhere, I think, between 17 and 20 minutes for cortisol levels to rebalance. So if you do this breathing when you're feeling a bit stressed or anxious, and you think, oh, I've been doing it for 3 minutes, it doesn't work, relax, settle in, know that it's going to take a little while for things to rebalance. So keep with your steady breathing or doing something else calming, but doing your breathing as well as or for part of that time, or even for the whole time if you really enjoy it. We're going to move on to another breath now. So this breath is for low mood, feelings of depression, and it is an uplifting breath. So you can see we've got a little sad looking chap and also our lovely happy rainbow flying up into the sky. And what we're going to do is we're going to use this breath to bring a sense of positivity to the body. So you're going to take an easy breath in, and as you breathe out, you're going to send a kind of warm energy, soft glow, radiant feeling to your tummy area. So you're just going to focus your out breath on that sense of expanding the belly area. So each breath out, you're going to enjoy that feeling of that energy. And then what we're going to do is you've got your hip bones here. So you're going to take a breath in, and then as you breathe out, you're going to send a smile from one hip bone round to the other one. And we're going to do it the same direction for a little while on this side. So breathing in, and then sending a smile around this area. And again, just using your breath. So you make that little smile shape. So we're bringing a sense of positivity and easy warmth to this area. So the kind of belly, genitals, lower back, dantian, the kind of seat of our life, our kind of our energy center. So with each breath, easy in-breath at your pace, and then that smile movement. Doing a couple in your own time. And then you're going to see if you can take that smile the opposite direction. So breath in whenever it is right timing for you, and then hip bone to the opposite hip bone, that smile shape. And then coming back to that sense of the area, just having a kind of golden glow or that melting honey feeling where the whole area just feels kind of gently energized, happy and relaxed. It's a really important area of the body. It's one that doesn't always get the gratefulness that it needs. And particularly in menopause, it's an area which is undergoing significant change, and that can bring many emotions, whether you've had children, not had children. So it's important that we really value and respect this area. We're going to move on to a breath that's for hot flashes. So this is to cool the body down. When heat regulation kind of gets unbalanced in menopause, the brain tells you that you're too hot, but inside you might not actually be too hot. So having a hot flash, then deciding you're going to go outside naked or some other form of, some way to cool yourself down a lot, is going to definitely reduce the hot flashes. It could end up with you feeling too cold. So these breaths are really quite helpful because they will gently cool the body, but they're not going to kind of lead to hypothermia, even though you feel fantastically cool because of the heat regulation. And I'm also very aware that at the moment it's winter, so some of you might be already feeling rather cold. So it's really important that you try this and then let it go quite quickly if you were to be feeling chilly at the moment, because we're not trying to take the body out of balance. This is so that you can practice something you can then use during hot flashes. So this one is a super pretty one. It involves the tongue and there's two different positions. So you can make your tongue into a round shape, like a straw, like this. So taking the sides of the tongue together. And genetically, some people just can't do that. The other option is to take the tongue to the roof of your mouth and you make the straw along the way, like that. And what's happening as you breathe, you're breathing over the surface of the tongue, which cools the air so that the air goes inside of you and then cools your body down. So you're going to choose either that kind of rolling the tongue into a straw or tucking the tongue back to create the straw horizontally. And you're going to take a couple of breaths this way. So you're going to feel the air on your tongue. You're going to notice its temperature. And then you're going to notice where that temperature travels to in your body. So it might be you just feel it down in the trachea and in the throat, or it might be you feel it in the lungs, you might feel it beyond that. But you're going, if you're feeling warm and not cold, you're going to continue in that breath for a couple of breaths so that you can just tune into that sensation and see how it feels for you. And then let that go for the moment because this is winter and I don't want anyone getting too cool. But that's a really, really helpful breath that you can use. There are two situations you might want to use it. One, when in the night or when you're in your own home, when you're feeling really hot, then you can do it quite strongly and you continue it for some time. Or when you're in public, and obviously doing it with a kind of funny face isn't quite so helpful in public, but you can do a really subtle version where the tongue is still tucked under, the mouth is slightly open, and it will have a cooling effect because often women experience menopausal flashes when under stressful situations. So you want something that's going to be manageable in those times. We are going to do a balancing breath now. Get this over, which is my timer. So the balancing breath is really, really good. It balances the physical body, which balances the hormones and also balances the emotion. It can be used for so many different situations, but it's particularly helpful in menopause. And what we're going to do is I'm going to play you a little ticking noise. It will just be every second tick. And you're going to notice your breath. So you're going to notice your natural breath right now. What is your in breath and what is your out breath? So just is it 3 seconds? Is it 4 seconds? What is it? So you're going to notice you might have had a breath where you think, oh, well, I'm 3 on the inhale, 4 on the exhale, or the other way around, or you might be 5 or 6. It doesn't really matter what your breath pattern was or how long. What you're going to do is you're going to make an equal breath with the lowest number. So if 3 was your lowest number, you'll do 3 in and 3 out. And if it was 5, you'll do 5 in and 5 out. If you do this so that you do it too slowly, you will feel tight and stressed and a little bit worried, and it will feel not very nice. If you do it so that you make the number too small, you will also just feel that you can't actually breathe properly. So it's about getting the right number for you right now. So you're going to use the number that works for you with the little timer. And at some point, you might find that you can increase it by a second. So you might move from 3 to 4 or 4 to 5, but only if it's entirely comfortable. Only if there's a sense of ease in the body as you do it. And you might find naturally that your breath becomes a little bit longer again. So that just very, very gently we can allow that breath to extend a little bit. But it's all entirely natural feeling. It's not a feeling of bolting on a strange practice. And then taking a pause, noticing how you feel now. I'm aware of the time and the fact that we should be ending quite soon, so I'm going to skip over this next breath and we will come to just having a little reflection on how we're feeling at the moment. So can you bring your hand back to your heart and back to your belly and just take a moment to breathe here and noticing how your breath has changed. It might be that you still breathe into the same area first, but you'll probably notice that your breath has changed in its quality or how you feel in yourself. So there are physical changes and their breathing apparatus changes, and there are also emotional changes as well. So I really wanted to include this picture towards the end. So may the force be with you. I wanted to give you the concept of menopause not necessarily being this terrible transformation that we have to go through and is awful, but more that it's a kind of a very profound time of power, which can rise through you and that you can use, and that those hot flashes can be a positive energy. Rather than just something to be survived, that you can try and reframe and enjoy that on a different level. So that was a whistle-stop tour to yoga breathing for menopause and anxiety. I very much hope that's been useful to you. I know it's been quite quick, but it's given you a range of breaths that you can use. And hopefully you'll be able to weave them into your daily life. I do yoga classes online, so you're very welcome to join me. In fact, I think I already saw someone from my yoga class who already comes. So, well, I won't say your name, but it's lovely to see you here as well. And I'm very happy to stay on for 5 minutes if anyone wants to ask any questions, but I'm also aware some of you might want to get back onto meetings and other things. So if you do want to unmute yourself and ask any questions, then do feel free to do that just now, and I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Susanna. That was so brilliant. I think everyone in the comments is echoing that. That was wonderful. Thank you again. It was very calming.
Good, that's wonderful. I really enjoyed it and I hope it's been helpful. It's one of these things that, you know, you have to do it quite a few times to be able to get settled with it, but hopefully the recording, all being well, will be able to guide people through that.
Definitely.